Hey guys, hey, today we're going to talk a little bit about Islam. We're going to finish up the world religion notes, and wanted to first let you know that I really need you to listen, not just write the words down, but listen to what I have to say. Also know that your notes, your web quest, and this study guide I give you today will all help you get ready for a quiz tomorrow, which will also help you get ready for your book project due next week and your IAC and all that. So just take good notes and really learn a lot. So here's the deal. I want to put a little jam on, a little jazz music in the back. All right. I'm one of my favorite guitar players. And here we go. Let's jump in and learn about where Islam started. It started in a place called Arabia. It's today called Saudi Arabia. Back uh, in the 600s or so AD, that was just called Arabia. You've heard of Iraq, right? We've been to war with them. You've heard of Iran, one of our enemies today. Maybe you've heard of Syria, where there's just a lot of refugees needing a place to go. That's there. Here's Egypt. Here's the Red Sea, of course, where Moses supposedly crossed or parted the Red Sea. But today we want to really kind of focus on this city here, the city of Mecca. Today it is the holiest city of all of the religion of Islam. It's where Muhammad, their founder, came from. We'll learn he gets kicked out. He travels up here to Medina, starts his new religion, and then he'll come back and basically Mecca will become its holy city. So let's just jump in and let's just take some notes. Okay, so first of all, Arabia is mostly dry. It's a kind of made up of a big, large desert, except for there are many oases around where there's underground water supply, and that's where the people would, they have to gather, to survive. You need water for food and to feed your animals and yourself, and so they basically they gathered into tribes because it was dangerous to live on your own out there. There was always bandits and stuff, people trying to steal from you. So you got in the tribes, protected you. They had a king or an absolute monarchy, and that they were called the sheikh, was the ruler of each tribe. And really, through time, the Bedouins became the most powerful of all these tribes. Desert herders lived in tents, they raised animals, and they learned where these oases were, these places for water. They traveled together in caravans, which means large groups of people, and they traded all across the desert. And eventually, because of the Bedouins, they started to set up cities. And one of those cities they set up was Mecca. It becomes one of the most important trading towns. It's kind of in the center part of Arabia, and eventually will become the holiest place in all of Arabia. So when we talk about the fact that Islamic people or Muslims pray 5 times a day and they face this city, that's where they're facing the city, this holy city. One of the things you'll find in the holy city of Mecca is a low square building called the Kaaba or the Kaaba, right? And it is just a super holy place, and it's a place that all Muslims are supposed to at least once in their lifetime travel to and worship there. It is believed that just a piece of it, so I'll show you a picture in a second, this square or rectangle building, just one section of it is this black stone that believers in Islam believe that came from heaven, that actually the angel Gabriel came down and gave it to Abraham, who's the same person who founded Judaism, right? So Abraham's important to the Jews, to the Christians, and to Islam. But people will flock there by the millions every year to see this thing called the Kaaba, located in Mecca. Here's a picture of it. It's kind of hard to see, but you'll see the building, and it's been built and made out of wood and brick. But in one corner, there's this black stone, and everybody tries to encircle that as they're praying and worshiping, and then they all try to touch it or even maybe kiss it, just because it's supposed to be such a holy experience for them. So that's the Kaaba. All right. So here's the deal. Muhammad was a prophet. He's the one who's given credit for starting this religion. The reality was he didn't really like the way the wealthy leaders had lived. Excuse me. They were just living for themselves. They were rich and they weren't helping the poor people. In fact, they were really mistreating the poor. So he went to the mountains to pray like he would do, kind of had a cave he hung out in. And the story says that he was visited by an angel, Gabriel, and told to preach this new idea called Islam. Okay? And the word Islam just means surrendering to the will of Allah. Okay? So that's what Islam means. And Allah is just another word for God. And so Islam, just like the Christians, are right, just like the Jews, believes in one God. They call him Allah. So here's the deal. Muhammad, after getting these words from what he believes is God, right, from the angel, he writes it all down, and he begins to come back and preach it to the wealthy leaders in Mecca, right? Well, the leaders reject it. First of all, they don't want to believe in one God. They believe in many gods. It's polytheism, right? But also, they didn't like the idea that they were supposed to, like, give of their money to help others. And so he was actually kicked out, like forced out by force, like they threatened to kill him. And so Muhammad and some of the people who did like his ideas left, and they went to the city of Yathrib. Okay, was just a short journey away, and this journey becomes known as a hijrah. Right? It's this like basically holy journey they take. That's the same word that's given to the people, Muslims, who make a journey to the Kaaba. It's called a hijrah. Okay, it's all connected to this journey that Muhammad took. Also, this becomes the first year of the new Muslim calendar. AD 622 is actually their year one. So we're on a Western Christian calendar. It's 622 AD, but for them it becomes one. Anyway, when he gets to Yathrib, the people love him there. They absolutely love him. So they renamed their city Medina, okay, which means city of the prophet. And he's, right, the prophet that started this religion. And they like him so much they want him to become their ruler, their sheikh. And so he becomes the ruler. They named the city after him, and they love his religion. They love this idea of Islam, this idea of surrendering to the will of Allah. Okay, so Muhammad's the prophet. He's the one who starts it. Now, because he's not just in charge of the religion, he's also in charge of the government. He's the sheikh, the ruler. That kind of combines the religion into the government. So he's accepted as a ruler and prophet, and he was a good ruler. He really did try to take care of the poor. He also creates something known as an Islamic State, okay, which means that the religion is going to actually be the government. So he applied the laws given to him by Allah to govern this state, to govern, the city he was in. And that the government then uses its political power to force you to be part of that religion. So an Islamic State, which still exists today, is that it's illegal to be part of any other religion. In some countries today, they still have that, right? And the idea is that all Muslims, you must be loyal to your religion. Okay, so it's called an Islamic State. In AD 630, he builds a large army in Medina. Excuse me. And he's going to go back to Mecca. And since they won't convert and be part of his religion, he conquers them with his army, and he takes over. And anyone who doesn't become a part of his religion, they're kicked out. Okay. And he makes Mecca the holy city of Islam. It's a rich city, much richer than Medina, and it's a central place in Arabia. It's just a great location, good headquarters for a religion. And then in AD 632, just 2 years later, he dies. Okay, he's in his 60s or so, and he dies. And when that happens, Islam becomes even more popular. If you think about it, after Jesus died is when that religion became popular too. But AD 632 is really where Islam just jumps and becomes super popular and will grow. It's the second largest religion in the world today. Over 1.7 billion, I think it is, people are part of Islam. So big. It's a large religion. So a couple things we need to know, and then we're done here. First of all, Islam is monotheistic. All right, they believe in one God who's called Allah. He holds all power. He's created the universe. Okay. I'm going kind of fast. I'm running out of time here. The early prophets were Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Okay. Notice that Jesus is real, but he's not. He's just a prophet. So here's the big deal. Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God, and Muslims say he's just a prophet, not God. And, of course, Muhammad is seen as a prophet, not God. He's not divine. And I'm out of time. See ya.